Welcome back to Eclipsed by Fate. Chapter 1 Part 2. Chapter 1. The Stranger in the Mist. Continued. A dangerous truth. Celia stood frozen, her breath caught in her throat. Damien's touch was cold, yet it burned through her skin like a ghost of a flame. He held her gaze, his expression unreadable, but his fingers trembled slightly, as if he were at war with himself. Why does he resist? She felt it. The bond between them was as real as the night air around them. It coiled in her chest, tugging her toward him, whispering promises of something deeper, unbreakable. But his words were sharp. A warning, a rejection. I was made for war. For blood. For death. His voice was quiet but firm, filled with centuries of sorrow. Celia's heart pounded. That doesn't mean you're incapable of. His fingers suddenly curled into a fist, pulling away from her as if burned. You don't understand, Celia. His voice dropped, his jaw tightening. I was not meant to have a mate. Her lips parted. What do you mean? Damien exhaled sharply, his gaze darkening like a storm rolling in. Vampires like me don't get mates. His words sent a chill down her spine. She had heard whispers of it, of certain vampires whose souls had been twisted too far by darkness, by curses, by blood spilled over centuries. They were not meant to be bound to another. They were doomed to solitude. Yet here she stood, bound to him by fate itself. A cruel mistake. Damien turned slightly, as if preparing to disappear into the mist. Go home, Celia. A part of her wanted to obey. To run. To pretend she had never stepped into these woods. But a stronger part of her refused. He feels it too. Why is he fighting it? She took a shaky step forward. If you weren't meant to have a mate, then why do I feel this bond? Damien flinched. For the first time, his mask cracked. It was slight, the barest flicker of emotion in his eyes, but it was there. A sliver of longing, of desperation. Then, before she could say anything else, the air shifted. A rustling in the trees. A new presence. They were not alone. The hunters arrive. Damien's posture stiffened instantly. Without thinking, he grabbed Celia's wrist and yanked her against him, his cloak wrapping around her like a shield. Stay quiet, he murmured. Celia barely had time to process what was happening before figures emerged from the mist. Hunters. They moved with silent precision, their silver weapons glinting under the moonlight. Celia recognized the crest on their armor, the Order of the Sun, a guild dedicated to exterminating vampires. But why were they here? Their leader, a tall man with a scar down his cheek, stepped forward. His sharp eyes landed on Damien. Lord Voss, he said, his voice clipped. You've broken the treaty. Celia's stomach dropped. What treaty? Damien remained still, his grip on Celia tightening slightly. I've done no such thing, he said coolly. The hunter smirked. And yet, here you stand with a human in your grasp. His gaze flickered to Celia. Did she wander into your trap, or is she a willing offering? Celia bristled. I am not some sacrifice. Before she could open her mouth, Damien stepped forward, positioning himself between her and the hunters. Leave now, he commanded, his voice like a blade. The leader chuckled. Afraid your pet will see what you really are. The words struck deep, but Celia didn't waver. Before she could say anything, the hunter moved. Faster than her eyes could track, he unsheathed a dagger laced with silver, aimed directly at Damien's heart. Everything happened at once. Damien's hand snapped up, catching the hunter's wrist with inhuman speed. A sickening crack filled the air as he twisted the man's arm. Celia gasped. The other hunters lunged forward. Damien reacted instinctively. His fangs flashed. His eyes glowed red. And in an instant, he was no longer just a man, he was a monster. The choice. Celia watched in stunned silence as Damien ripped through the hunters like a shadow-given form. He was merciless, moving with a grace that was almost terrifying. His cloak billowed, his claws gleamed, and one by one, the hunters fell. Within moments, the air was still again. Bodies lay strewn across the ground, their blood staining the forest floor. The metallic scent burned Celia's nose. Damien stood in the center of it all, his breathing unsteady. His hands, stained crimson, hung at his sides. Then, slowly, he turned to Celia. His face was unreadable, his eyes dark as the abyss. But she saw it, the silent question. Are you afraid of me now? Celia's heart pounded. She should have been terrified. She should have run. And yet, she stepped forward. Damien's breath hitched. Then, a sharp pain erupted in her chest. Celia stumbled, her vision blurring. She heard Damien curse under his breath, catching her before she collapsed. The bond between them, it was growing unstable. She was human. He was not. And fate had tied them together anyway. Damien's hands trembled as he held her. His expression, normally so guarded, was now desperate. I told you, he whispered, almost like a confession. This is why you should have left. Celia clutched his cloak, forcing herself to look up at him. She was his mate. And now, she had a choice. To run, or to stay. To accept the impossible bond between them, or to fight it. The answer should have been easy. But fate never made things easy. Not for them. Not for soulmates who were never meant to be. Thanks for listening to Eclipsed by Fate from the Imagination Gates. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and follow for more chapters. Thanks for watching part 2. Part 3 is on its way.